The office Christmas party smelled like champagne and cologne. The lights were dimmed. My boss came up behind me at the bar, his voice low in my ear. "You look incredible tonight." Then his lips grazed my neck, warm, slow, electric. My breath caught. My body betrayed me before my mind could catch up. I leaned back into him. I let his hands wander. I let him take me further than I ever imagined. In the coat room, in the dark. Because for once, I felt wanted. Dim the lights. Pour a drink. You're listening to Late Night Confession Stories. Anonymous voices, real desire, zero judgment. Tonight, a company party, a boss's lips on her neck, and the moment she decided not to stop him. Subscribe if you want more confessions that make your pulse race. Here we go. I used to think power dynamics were simple. He signs the checks. I do the work. We smile politely in meetings. We never cross the invisible line. That's how it's supposed to be. Clean, professional, safe. I was 36. Married 9 years to a good man who still loved me, in the quiet, habitual way people love after the fireworks fade. 2 kids in elementary school. A mortgage that never seemed to shrink. A job I was good at, promotions I earned, a boss who noticed. He noticed everything. My reports, my deadlines, the way I carried myself when I presented in the boardroom, the way my laugh sounded a little forced at team happy hours. He noticed. And I noticed that he noticed. His name was Marcus. 42. Divorced. Sharp suits. Quiet confidence. The kind of man who didn't need to raise his voice to command a room. He called me by my first name, never Ms. Carter, always Elena. Soft. Deliberate. Like he was tasting it. I told myself it was professional courtesy. I told myself compliments on my work were just compliments. I told myself the way his eyes lingered on my mouth when I spoke was just focus. I lied to myself for months. The loneliness had crept in slowly. My husband, David, still kissed me goodbye every morning. Still asked about my day. Still fell asleep beside me with his arm across my waist. But the touches had become routine. Mechanical. Predictable. We hadn't made love in. I stopped counting because the number felt like an accusation. I wasn't angry. I wasn't even sure I was sad. I was just absent. A wife. A mother. An employee. But not a woman. Not anymore. The company holiday party was at a downtown hotel ballroom. Low lights. Champagne. A live band playing covers of songs no one under 40 knew. I wore a black dress, fitted but modest, nothing flashy. I told myself I dressed up for me. For confidence. Not for anyone else. Marcus found me at the bar. He was in a charcoal suit, no tie, top button undone. He ordered 2 drinks without asking what I wanted. Handed me one. Our fingers brushed. I didn't pull away. Neither did he. We talked about work at first. Safe topics. Deadlines. The new client. Then the conversation drifted. He asked about my kids. I asked about his divorce, gently, like it was just polite curiosity. He answered honestly. No bitterness. Just fact. Then he said, quietly, "You seem different tonight, Elena. More alive." I laughed, nervous, deflecting. "It's the champagne," I said. He smiled. Small. Knowing. Maybe, he murmured. "But I like it." We moved to a quieter corner near the coat check. The music muffled. The crowd distant. He stood close, closer than necessary. I could smell his cologne, woodsy, expensive, intoxicating. He looked down at me. Eyes dark. Intent. Then he leaned in. Slowly. Giving me every second to step back. I didn't. His lips brushed the side of my neck, warm, deliberate, electric. A shiver ran through me. My breath caught. I should have moved. I should have laughed it off. Said something professional. Instead, I tilted my head, just enough. Just like I'd imagined in fleeting, guilty moments I never admitted to myself. His mouth pressed firmer. Kissed lower. Along my collarbone. His hand slid to my waist. Pulled me closer. I felt the heat of him through my dress. Felt my own body respond before my mind could catch up. "Marcus," I whispered. Not a protest. Not quite permission. Just his name. Like saying it made it real. He didn't answer with words. His other hand found the small of my back. Guided me backward, through the coat check doorway. Into the narrow, dimly lit alcove where rows of hangers hid us from view. The door clicked almost shut behind us. Not locked. Not open. Somewhere in between. His lips found mine. Hungry now. No more teasing. I kissed him back, hard, desperate, like I'd been starving for this without knowing it. His hands moved under my dress. Up my thighs. Fingers brushing lace. I gasped against his mouth. He smiled against my lips. Low. Victorious. I should have stopped. I should have remembered David. The kids. The ring on my finger. The job. The consequences. But all I could feel was his touch. The way he looked at me like I was the only thing in the room worth seeing. The way my body answered before my conscience could scream. I let him go further. Right there. In the shadows of the coat room. With music and laughter just feet away. I arched into him. I let his fingers find me. I let him press me against the wall. I let him take what I'd been denying myself for years. And when it was over, quick, breathless, electric, he kissed my forehead. Soft, almost tender. Then he straightened his jacket, smiled once, and walked back into the party like nothing had happened. I stayed there a moment longer. Dress smoothed, breath unsteady, heart hammering, trying to feel the guilt I knew should be coming. It didn't. Not yet. All I felt was heat, and the terrifying realization that I wanted more. I returned to the ballroom like nothing had happened. Smoothed my dress, fixed my hair in the reflection of a champagne flute, smiled at colleagues, laughed at jokes I barely heard. Marcus was across the room now, shaking hands, playing the perfect executive. Our eyes met once. Just once. A quick, private flash, no smile, no nod, just acknowledgement. Then he looked away. I told myself that was the end of it. A one-time lapse. A story I'd bury so deep even I'd forget the shape of it. I drove home alone. The city lights blurred past the window. My skin still tingled where his mouth had been. I turned up the radio to drown the memory. It didn't work. Monday morning arrived like punishment. Same office. Same desk. Same fluorescent lights. I wore a high-neck blouse, subconscious armor. Marcus walked past my cubicle at 9:17. He paused, dropped a printed report on my desk. Good work on the Q4 forecast, Elena, he said. Voice low, professional. But his eyes held mine a second longer than necessary. I nodded. Thank you. He walked on. No one noticed. But I felt the heat crawl up my neck again. The same heat from Friday night. For 3 days we played the game perfectly. No texts. No private meetings. No lingering glances in the break room. We were impeccable. Colleagues. Boss and employee. Nothing more. But every time he passed my desk, every time his voice carried across the open floor calling my name in a meeting, my body remembered. My pulse quickened. My thighs pressed together under the desk. I hated it. I hated how much I wanted it to happen again. Thursday afternoon, the office emptied early. Half day for the holiday. Most people left by 2 p.m. I stayed to finish a presentation. Marcus stayed too. He had emails to catch up on. The floor grew quiet. Computers shutting down. Footsteps fading. Until it was just us. 2 offices down the hall from each other. Doors open. Silence thick between them. I heard his chair roll back. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. He appeared in my doorway. Leaned against the frame. Arms crossed. Tie loosened. Sleeves rolled up. He didn't speak at first. Just looked at me. I didn't look up from my screen. Couldn't. My hands trembled on the keyboard. Elena, he said quietly. I swallowed. Closed the laptop slowly. Met his eyes. He stepped inside. Closed the door behind him. Not locked. Just closed. The click echoed like a gunshot in the silence. He crossed the room. Stopped in front of my desk. I stood. We were eye level now. He reached out. Brushed a strand of hair behind my ear. His thumb lingered on my cheek. Then slid down. Traced my jaw. My breath hitched. I didn't move away. You've been avoiding my eyes all week, he murmured. I nodded. Small. Honest. I'm trying to be good, I whispered. He smiled, small, almost sad. So am I. Then he leaned in. Kissed my neck again. Same spot. Same slow pressure. I closed my eyes. Let my head fall back. His hands found my waist. Pulled me around the desk. Pressed me against it. I gripped the edge. Knuckles white. He kissed lower. Along my collarbone. His fingers worked the top button of my blouse. Then the next. I didn't stop him. I arched into his mouth. Let him peel the fabric aside. Let him taste skin that hadn't been touched in years. The office was silent except for our breathing. My skirt hiked up. His belt unbuckled. Desk papers pushed aside. I wrapped my legs around him. He entered me slow, deep, deliberate. I bit my lip to keep quiet. He groaned against my throat. We moved together. Fast. Desperate. Like we'd both been holding our breath since Friday. When it ended, we stayed tangled. Foreheads pressed. Sweat cooling. He kissed me softly. Once. Then stepped back. Fixed his clothes. Looked at me with something like regret. Something like hunger. Don't avoid me tomorrow, he said quietly. I didn't answer. He left. I stayed behind the desk. Buttoning my blouse. Straightening papers. Trying to feel shame. It still didn't come. Only heat. Only the terrifying certainty that tomorrow I would look for him. And when he found me, I would let him again. If this confession is already making your heart race, hit that like button right now. It helps these stories reach more people carrying the same secrets. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another raw, forbidden confession. And drop a comment below. Have you ever crossed a line at work or let someone in power go further than you planned? Would you have stopped or kept going? No shame here, just real stories. Now, let's go back to Elena's confession. Friday came too fast. The office buzzed with weekend plans. I wore a pencil skirt and blouse, nothing provocative. Professional. Safe. But under the fabric my skin still remembered Thursday afternoon. The desk. The closed door. The way Marcus had looked at me when he left, like he already knew there would be a next time. I avoided his office all morning. kept my head down, answered emails, pretended to be busy. But at 11:47, he sent a meeting invite. Subject, Q1 review, urgent. One-on-one. His office. No agenda attached. My stomach flipped. I could decline, reschedule, claim a conflict. Instead, I accepted, hit send, and felt the heat rise again. His door was closed when I arrived. I knocked once. Soft. He called, come in. Voice low, controlled. I stepped inside. He was standing by the window, blinds half drawn, city skyline gray behind him. He didn't sit. Neither did I. We just looked at each other across the room. The air felt thick, charged, like the moment before a storm breaks. Close the door, he said. I did. The lock clicked under my fingers. This time he locked it. He crossed the room slowly, stopped in front of me, close enough that I could smell his cologne again. Woodsy, warm, intoxicating. He reached out, tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. His thumb brushed my jaw, then my lower lip. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. You've been quiet today, he murmured. I'm trying, I whispered. To be good. I nodded. Small, honest. He smiled, small, almost sad. So am I. Then he kissed me. Not soft, not teasing. Deep, hungry. I kissed him back the same way, hands fisting in his shirt, pulling him closer. His hands slid to my hips, lifted me onto the edge of his desk. Papers scattered. A pen rolled to the floor. I didn't care. Neither did he. My skirt hiked up. His belt unbuckled again. He pressed between my thighs, entered me slow at first, then harder. I gripped his shoulders, bit his neck to stay quiet. He groaned against my hair. Elena, my name in his voice a rough, needy, broke something inside me. I came fast, hard, body clenching around him. He followed seconds later, burying deep, shuddering, holding me tight like he was afraid I'd disappear. We stayed like that, breathing hard, sweat cooling, his forehead against mine. Then he kissed me softly, once, twice, pulled back, fixed his clothes, helped me off the desk, straightened my skirt with careful hands, looked at me with something I couldn't name. Don't avoid me Monday, he said quietly. I didn't answer. I couldn't, because I already knew I wouldn't. The weekend was torture. David took the kids to the park. I stayed home, cleaned, folded laundry, tried to feel normal, tried to feel guilty. The guilt came in flashes, small, sharp. When I saw David laughing with the kids, when I kissed him goodnight, when I stared at the ceiling in the dark. But it wasn't loud enough to drown out the memory of Marcus's hands, his voice saying my name, the way my body had answered without permission. Monday morning I wore a dress. Not tight, not short, but the fabric clung in places I knew he'd notice. I told myself it was coincidence. I lied. He found me in the break room at 10:22. No one else around. He stepped close, backed me against the counter, kissed my neck, same spot, same slow pressure. I closed my eyes, let my head fall back. His hand slid up my thigh under the dress, found lace, pushed it aside. I gasped. He swallowed the sound with his mouth. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. The break room door wasn't locked. Anyone could walk in. That made it worse. That made it better. When it was over, he kissed my forehead. Whispered, tomorrow. I nodded. Once. Small. Certain. It became routine. Quiet. Careful. His office after hours. The supply closet on slow days. My car in the parking garage once. Each time faster. Hungrier. More reckless. Each time I told myself it would be the last. Each time I lied. I still loved David. In the tired, familiar way you love someone who has stayed. I still kissed the kids goodnight. Still packed lunches. Still smiled at coworkers. But part of me lived in the shadows now. In the locked doors. In the whispered names. In the heat that refused to fade. And every time Marcus looked at me across the open floor, every time he said my name in a meeting, I felt it again. The pull. The ache. The terrifying certainty that I didn't want it to stop. The routine lasted 3 more weeks. Quiet. Careful. Addictive. His office after hours. The supply closet on slow afternoons. My car in the parking garage once, windows fogged, breath sharp, seats reclined. Each time faster. Each time more reckless. Each time I told myself, this is the last. Each time I lied. Then the cracks started showing. Not big ones. Small. Almost invisible. A missed deadline I couldn't explain. A presentation where my voice cracked when Marcus asked a question from across the room. A text from David, you've been distant lately. Everything okay? I replied, just work stress. Love you. The words tasted like ash. Guilt finally arrived. Not loud. Not dramatic. It slipped in like fog, cold, persistent, impossible to shake. I started crying in the shower. Not sobbing. Just silent tears mixing with water. I looked at David across the dinner table and felt a sharp pang, not hatred, not even anger. Just grief. For the life we had built. For the woman I used to be before I let Marcus inside. For the lie I was living every day. Marcus noticed. Of course he did. He noticed everything. One afternoon in his office, door locked, blinds down, he didn't touch me right away. He sat on the edge of his desk. Looked at me. "You're pulling away," he said quietly. I nodded. Tears burned behind my eyes. "I have to," I whispered. "For my family. For me." He didn't argue. Didn't beg. Just nodded slowly. "I know." Then he stood. Crossed to me. Cupped my face. Kissed me once soft, almost goodbye. "I won't push," he said. "But if you ever change your mind, you know where I am." I walked out of his office. Closed the door behind me. And didn't look back. The next week, I requested a transfer to another department. It was approved quickly. New team. New manager. New floor. Marcus and I passed in the hallway sometimes. We nodded. Polite. Professional. Nothing more. The heat faded. Not gone. Just quieter. Like embers under ash. At home, David and I started talking again. Really talking. Not just schedules and kids. About us. About the distance we both felt but never named. We went to counseling. Once a week. No big revelations. No dramatic confessions. Just small steps. Honest ones. I never told him about Marcus. Some secrets are too heavy to share. They would only hurt without healing. I carry mine alone. And somehow, that feels right. Months later, I still see Marcus in meetings. He's still my colleague. Still professional. Still kind. But when our eyes meet across the table, there's a flicker. A memory. A scar that doesn't fade. I don't regret it. Not exactly. I regret the lying. I regret the risk. But I don't regret the feeling. For a few weeks I was seen. Wanted. Alive. And that feeling, sharp, dangerous, beautiful, lives in me now. Quiet. Permanent. A reminder that I am more than routine. More than duty. More than numb. I still wear the same black dress to company events. I still smile politely in meetings. I still kiss David goodnight. I still pack lunches. I still live. But every once in a while, when the office is quiet and the lights are low, I remember the coat room. The desk. The whispered name. And I let myself feel it, just for a second, before I close the door again. That's my confession. Not loud. Not explosive. Just true. And still breathing. And that's Elena's confession. A quiet line crossed in the shadows of an office party. A moment that started with a kiss on the neck and ended with a scar she still carries. Thank you for listening all the way through. If this story stirred something in you, if it made you think about desire, power, or the lines we draw and sometimes erase, hit that like button right now. It helps these confessions reach more people who need them. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another raw, honest story. And in the comments, tell me what stayed with you. Have you ever let someone in power go further than you planned? Would you have pulled away or kept going? No judgment here. We carry these secrets together. Until next time, sleep well. Or don't.